Awez, and today we're reacting to the bizarre kidnapping of Aldi's CEO. I once with you after the whole Luigi story, bro. I always wondered wait, we can actually do something to these people. Not as if I'll do that. I'm just you know what I'm saying. It's wait, that's actually possible. Is it that easy? Only to find out that yes, it is actually that easy. Consequences will be swift, but it is that easy. So yeah. Without further ado, comment, like, subscribe, let's go.
This is the CEO of the parent company of Trader Joe's and Aldi. He has just finished work and is heading home for the day. Parked next to him is a Mercedes 280, the same model his boss is driving. But it appears to be someone else's car. His boss left earlier anyways and should long be home by now. What he can't see is that his boss is tied up in the back seat, just 3 meters away from him, gagged and held at gunpoint. He has been kidnapped, and this really is his car. This, right here, is the beginning of the biggest kidnapping in German history. The man in the backseat is Theo Albrecht, one of the two brothers who founded the global discount supermarket chain Aldi and one of the richest people in Europe. At this point in time, Aldi is already taking over Germany. Soon, it'll conquer the world. Theo Albrecht and his brother will forever change the way people do grocery shopping, how much they spend on it, and how supermarkets work in general. But right now, he's not thinking about business. He's thinking about staying alive.
Pack die Koffer Blondie, wir fahren heute so, wie es uns gefällt. Reißt die Zelte ab, Spatz, wie im Eiltempo.
This is almost like the whole Deadpool intro. You know what I'm saying?
Noch ein letztes Mal, wir fahren ins Nirgendwo. Ein letztes Mal.
It's like a real movie, bro.
This is Theo, and this is his brother Karl. They're the Albrecht brothers. Their parents own a small grocery shop in the West German city of Essen. It's small and simple. The brothers grow up helping out where they can, but it's a tough time for selling groceries, or anything really. There was the hyperinflation in 1923, the Great Depression of 1929, Germany bombed to rubble in 1945, and the currency reform of 1948. Most Germans are broke and hungry. Theo is in his mid-20s when he and Karl take over the family shop. They know they have to be smart to make it through these difficult times. In this bare-bones store, the two will develop a set of principles that will revolutionize the concept of supermarkets as we know it. This is Hannah. She's in her early 20s and from another West German city called Düsseldorf. She comes from money, and right now she's head over heels in love with this guy. He's a bit older, as in almost 30 years older.
Damn.
A lawyer with a firm in downtown Düsseldorf. He too is rich. He drives flashy cars, takes luxury vacations, and somehow always wins at the roulette table. Well, almost always. The other day, his luck ran out. He had to borrow 300,000 Deutsche Marks from Hannah, but that's not going to bother her tonight. Tonight they'll enjoy themselves at a ball. Hannah will have this photo framed and put up in her bedroom. She has no idea it'll go global just a few months later. Interpol will use it for their manhunt to bring down the mastermind behind Germany's most high-profile kidnapping. Hannah's big shot lawyer boyfriend is called Heinz Joachim Ohlenburg, and right now he's got a problem. He and his partner just kidnapped one of the richest men in the country, and they have absolutely no idea what to do next. To be fair, it's their first kidnapping. Also, Ohlenburg's day job is entirely different. He forged his high school diploma to get into law school. He's been divorced twice and keeps having affairs with young women. These days, he's representing pretty shady clients, loan sharks, small-time crooks, and professional criminals. Now he needs cash, lots of it, and fast. 700,000 Deutsche Marks. He owes not only Hannah a couple of grand, but also a few relatives and even 2 serious felons. One of them is this guy here, Diamond Paul. His real name is Paul Kron. He's a trained car mechanic by day and a safecracker by night. He breaks into banks and department stores and snatches their cash deposits. He got caught once and did a few years behind bars. He swore he was done with that life when he got out, but he still has that one dream. A house on the Spanish Mediterranean coast. He even has a name for it, Casa Paulo. The land is already paid for. Now he just needs the money to build it. But his day job pays less than 2,000 Deutsche Marks a month. That is not going to cut it. The kidnapping was his idea. One last job, and they go off-grid forever. The morning after the kidnapping, they don't know where to stash their millionaire. So Paul...
But we all know that forever is never really forever for these gents, bro. Eventually, they're going to run out of luck because they can't save money, they can't do things properly, and then they're going to come back. Like, bro, fast money is cool. It's not. Okay, fast money is bad when once you're done with your job, bro, you still thinking the fast money mindset, bro. You gotta save your money, you gotta put it away in a cool place, bro. You just won the lottery.
Spent the night with him in his garage, with Theo Albrecht tied up and blindfolded next to him in the passenger seat.
A lot of people do some stupid shit when they win the lottery. So, okay, disregard whatever I said.
Albrecht's wife already knows. They called her the night before the kidnapping. They promised her husband would come back unharmed as long as she stayed quiet. No cops, no press. Now they just need to figure out what to do with him. First, they need to bring him somewhere safe, quietly, so that no one will recognize him. But how do you move a hostage without anyone noticing? They weigh their options. A wardrobe trunk? Too small. A broom closet? 6 weeks delivery time. Roll him up in a carpet. That could work. Allenberg heads out to get one, 2 by 3 meters. Kron stays in the car with Albrecht. They agree to meet at a quiet road where they can safely transfer Albrecht into a Volkswagen van. The plan is to make him sit on the rolled out rug and wrap him up like a burrito. It all starts with this: butter. Post-war Germany is a country in ruins. Food is scarce. Butter is a luxury. So the Albrecht brothers do something unusual. They sell their butter at cost, without markups and profits, sometimes even at loss. But word spreads quickly. There's no cheaper butter in town than at the Albrecht shop. Butter becomes their draw, or what's often called a loss leader. Other Albrecht loss leaders are bread, margarine, milk, flour, potatoes, pasta, soap, and toilet paper. They're everyday essentials at unbeatable prices, and once customers come in for those, they are likely to also spend money on other products. The plan works out. Before long, the Albrechts open one grocery store after another. Within just a few years, they're running 30 supermarkets across the greater area.
Damn.
While scaling, Aldi keeps it old school. A lot of paper, a lot of folders, tightly managed departments. If only they could have run on Odoo, the all-in-one management platform, instead of isolated softwares.
Okay, cool. Nah, we ain't doing that, bro. But get your money,
Easily
get
add
your
any-
money, guys. We'll make proper videos and go louder. It's almost like
Unlimited
movies when they make these things. But yeah.
office,
we ain't
but
doing
it's
this.
located on a
Hold
busy Olenberg, plus a free custom domain name for and Kron are looking for a place to hide their kidnapped millionaire, in broad daylight in downtown Dusseldorf. The first idea is Olenberg's lawyer's office, but it's located on a busy street right in the city center, just off the central station. Getting Albrecht out of the car and into the building would mean walking him across the sidewalk, blindfolded, so he doesn't see where he's taken and by whom. He could shout, people could notice and get suspicious. The second idea is Olenberg's grown-up daughter. She lives only a few blocks away. They could hide him there and have her move into the lawyer's office for a while. But that's probably a tough sell. Her father has never visited her apartment, not even once, and now he would just show up with a kidnapped millionaire. So, back to the first idea. Unfortunately, Albrecht doesn't fit in the rug. What now? The hostage himself ends up pitching in. He promises to cooperate and not cause trouble. Allenberg and Kron agree. They take off the blindfold, tape his eyes with skin patches, and give him a pair of shades. Then they walk him across the sidewalk to the building. But there's another problem. The office is packed with staff and clients who've already been waiting a while. So Allenberg shuffles everyone into back rooms so that Kron can sneak Albrecht through the hallway and into Allenberg's private room. He usually reserves it for secret dates with his younger girlfriends. The room is a cramped 4 square meter alcove. They sit Albrecht down on the bed. Then Allenberg goes into full gear to clear the office, rushing through client meetings and sending his staff home early. They don't mind. Hannah is worried, as usual,
Hey.
not because she thinks her boyfriend is a kidnapper, but because she knows he's a womanizer, constantly chasing younger women. But tonight he comes home from work on time. There's nothing special on the evening news, no
Joke
mentions of a
complainer.
missing tycoon. Mrs. Albrecht seems to have gotten the message. No police and no press.
Das ist Rentner Hugo Bansimmer. Wir fragten ihn in seiner Wohnung, warum kaufen Sie bei Albrecht?
Wissen Sie, wenn man Rentner ist, muss man mit dem Pfennig rechnen. Und ich kaufe bei Albrecht ein. Ich kaufe dort immer ein. Man bekommt mehr für sein Geld und ich kann mir hin und wieder eine Pulle extra leisten.
Kaufen Sie bei Albrecht. Zu Ihrem Vorteil.
Karl Albrecht steps onto a small stage. He's about to give a rare public speech. He talks to fellow grocers about how he and his brother grew their business from 1 to 30 stores within just a few years. It'll be the first and last time he publicly explains the Albrecht business model.
Looking back on our operations, I see that in the early days, we were forced to keep a small product range. The sales strategy includes only fast-moving consumer goods. The limited product range eliminates time-consuming consultations for our staff, and customers can decide much faster to either buy or not buy. For example, we don't carry loose jams, fresh fruits and vegetables because they slow down sales. We also skip canned fruits and vegetables and specialty items like mayonnaise, pickled herring, herring salad and so on because of turnover speed. We carry only one variety of each product. For legumes, we have just one type each, so only one kind of beans, one kind of lentils and one kind of rice. For shoe polish, we only carry Erdal, for toothpaste only Blendux and only Sigella for floor wicks and cans. So for brand products, we only ever carry the best-selling brand. We have followed this principle of small product ranges at low prices since 1950. The customer must believe they cannot buy cheaper anywhere else. Once that belief is in place, and I think we achieved just that, customers will accept about anything.
Theo Albrecht spends most of his
kinda
confinement
clever.
sitting on the bed
I mean,
in his
for its
undershirt
time-
and briefs. He gets bread rolls.
Because now there's more variety in the supermarkets, but for its time, it's not clever. Even that's
Breakfast,
still used
steak with
today.
potatoes and beans for lunch, and coffee and pastries at tea time. The kidnappers offer him a warm meal for dinner, but he just wants sandwiches and mineral water. Every 2 days, he gets a hot bath and fresh underwear. He's allowed to shave with one of the kidnappers' razors. They took his suit and shirt to a dry cleaner, so it'll look decent on the day of his release. His captors dictate letters for him to write to his wife.
Dear Silly, you have heard from me by now. I want to assure you again that I'm doing fine and that I'm being treated fairly. Please don't worry, everything will be okay. I beg you not to call the police at any circumstance and to not involve the press. I'll explain the terms of my release later. Much love, your Theo.
4 days in, and the kidnappers still haven't addressed the ransom. Ullenberg keeps dodging the topic, saying it makes him uncomfortable. And just like that, another day goes by in captivity. Albrecht will later testify in court that during those days, he lived in constant fear for his life. Day 5, Saturday. Albrecht decides to take matters into his own hands. He proposes a ransom. By this time, Aldi is estimated to be generating 2 billion Deutsche Marks in yearly revenue. But the price tag he puts on his own life is considerably smaller, 100,000 Deutsche Marks. It's a ridiculous offer, a joke. Then again, it's very on brand. Theo Albrecht is famously stingy. Daily business at the Albrecht stores is governed by a set of strict principles. 1. No heating. Employees are expected to dress warmly. 2. Lights off unless absolutely necessary. Theo Albrecht personally ensures compliance during frequent surprise rounds. 3. Zero waste. Every sheet of paper is used front and back. Plastic sleeves get reused. Paper clips and envelopes are meticulously saved. 4. No frills. No decoration, no pretty product displays, no fancy signage. Just fluorescent lighting and cardboard boxes stacked on plain shelves. 5. Speed, or what some may call German. No chit-chat, no customer consultation, no service counters. Just rapid checkouts. Time is money. Even the bathrooms are optimized. Theo Albrecht has all electronic hand dryers replaced because they take 4 seconds too long to shut off.
Damn.
Refrigeration is too expensive as well. The butter that fueled Aldi's meteoric rise is sold at room temperature. At night, it's stored in a cool basement. All of this serves one goal and one goal only: rock bottom prices, affordable for anyone.
Warum kann man bei Albrecht so preisgünstig einkaufen?
weil die Ladeneinrichtung nur einen Bruchteil des
It makes
Üblichen
sense
kostet.
that like
Kein
they could sell
überflüssiger
it for lower
Luxus,
prices.
aber
Then.
zweckmäßig und sauber
I mean, but
für
that's
moderne
hey,
Menschen.
bro. That's brutal.
Albrecht-Preise sind nicht durch hohe
But that's how it is,
Einrichtungskosten
bro. That's how you
belastet.
really gotta make money,
Überzeugen
bro.
Sie sich. Kaufen Sie im Aldi-Markt.
The Albrecht grocery business eventually turns into
Like a lot of people like to act like billionaires are cool people or like nice people. These niggas are not nice, bro. These niggas really care about the money, bro. They really care about their money. They own about their money, bro. So if you feel as if a billionaire is a nice person, then hey, bro, maybe it's nice to you. But generally, they are assholes, bro. And it is what it is.
Aldi, the discount giant that's also behind Trader Joe's. And Aldi becomes a force of nature, a retail machine that leverages its market power to squeeze suppliers and farmers for ever lower prices. The Albrecht brothers earn a reputation as brutally efficient negotiators. But right now, Theo Albrecht is not the one negotiating from a position of power. The guys across the table have a gun, and they're threatening to kill him. They flat out reject his initial offer. Ullenberg knows exactly how rich Albrecht is. He read about it in a book. That's how they picked him up in the first place. Ullenberg tells Albrecht they need to consult with their partners. First, Kron heads into the next room for a call, then Ullenberg. The calls are fake. There's no one on the other end. They're bluffing to push the ransom. Ullenberg tells Albrecht he and his partners have agreed on a number. He says there are 7 people involved and that $1 million each would be fair. That makes $7 million. At this point, it's the largest sum ever demanded in a kidnapping in Europe. Ullenberg tells Albrecht not to worry. He can probably tax deduct the money as a business expense. Albrecht agrees. It's not like he really has a choice. By now, the kidnappers have worked out a plan for the ransom drop. On Tuesday at exactly 4 p.m., they'll call the Albrecht residence. Waiting on the other end will be the 4 people involved in the handover: Albrecht's wife, Silly, the family lawyer, the company's managing director, and one of his sons. They'll be given a first location, Meisenberg Street in Essen. There will be 2 stones with a note hidden underneath. The note will lead them to another location, where they'll find another note with another direction. The same thing will happen 2 more times. The final note will read,
Continue along the B288 toward Essen. Pull over at the parking lot near the Ruhrtal Bridge and use the deposited radio transmitter. Press the right button to say, Theo, come in please. Then follow the instructions you'll receive over the radio.
Kron will guide them via walkie-talkie to a path in the woods. There they're supposed to drop the money and leave. When the coast is clear, Kron will grab the ransom, and Albrecht will be released at Frankfurt Airport. They'll tell him they're leaving the country. Albrecht is told to board a plane back to Dusseldorf. Once he lands, he's a free man, and the kidnappers will have supposedly fled somewhere far away. It's a solid plan. Even Albrecht feels a bit relieved. Essen Police Headquarters. These are the 4 people awaiting the instructions for the ransom drop. At least they're supposed to look the part. They're actually 4 undercover detectives.
Oh.
They've been disguised by theater makeup artists. One of them is dressed as Mrs. Albrecht and wearing a wig. Underneath the costumes, they're hiding bulletproof vests and guns. They're standing by and waiting for the signal. Kron makes the call to the Albrecht residence. He says hello and is about to give the first set of instructions, and immediately gets cut off. Mrs. Albrecht was the one supposed to answer the call, but it's the family's lawyer on the line.
Please listen carefully. I have a brief but important statement to make. The conditions you have set are unacceptable. Money is the only viable exchange for the hostage. Since you demanded an unusually high amount of ransom money, we had to notify the state central bank. They in turn informed the police, and the press is also aware of the situation. We must act quickly now. Name a drop location and a reasonable amount. You will have our word. You will receive the money and be given enough time by the police to disappear.
Nah.
Police and the press.
I don't believe that.
That's the worst case scenario.
I don't believe
Kron
that.
rejects and hangs up.
Yeah.
The Albrecht family and the investigators are startled too.
Yeah.
They've spooked the kidnappers and lost their trust.
Yeah.
Theo Albrecht's life is still very much on the line. What now?
Get them scared.
This is Franz Hengsbach. He's the Bishop of Essen. And this is the city's chief of police. He desperately needs someone neutral that everyone can trust. The police, the family, and most importantly, the kidnappers. Someone who can be handed 7 million Deutschmarks and promise the kidnappers not to set them up. The plan is to use the Christian seal of confession. According to German criminal law, clergy are not obligated to report crimes they learn about during spiritual counsel. This will hopefully give the kidnappers a bit more assurance. Maybe they really can walk away clean. which is why Bishop Hengsbach shall handle the money handoff and save Theo Albrecht's life. Hengsbach is a man of faith. Of course he agrees. The kidnappers also agree to the plan. Technically, everything is set for a clean and smooth handover. Technically. The press has known about the case for a while now and agreed to keep quiet upon police request. But when they find out about the bishop becoming the middleman, they can't resist any longer. It's just too good of a story. The Essen police and prosecutors are forced to call a press conference. The room is packed.
Unser Verhältnis zur Familie ist, möchte ich sagen, aufgrund der merkwürdigen, teilweise sensationell aufgemachten Presseveröffentlichung etwas gestört. Die Familie ist naturgemäß sehr bedrückt.
Now it's not just the police anymore. The entire world knows what's happening. The bishop has been compromised. The kidnappers call off the meeting. It's too risky. The Albrecht family is desperate. They've lost all contact with the kidnappers. Will they harm Theo? Their last hope for communication is to include a message in a popular show on German national TV.
I mean, as much as I'm kind of rooting for the niggas that are trying to get the money, I do feel bad for this family though, cause like, yo, bro, the family members getting kidnapped, and basically they have the money, bro. It's not like they don't have the money, right? It's not like they're not willing to pay the money, but so like the government and all these other people are getting in the way, bro. Getting in the way. And I understand, man, security risk. What if, these people change their mind and just the person after getting the money? Because you already saw their faces. It's like, yo, okay. But at the same time, though, we got the money, bro. Why am I talking like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have the money. Why are you getting in the way, dog? Why are you getting in the way? It's not your money. Hey.
Hannah is doing okay, but she's worried about her boyfriend. He hasn't been sleeping well and says work has been stressful lately. At least they can unwind in front of the TV.
Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Vor 11 Tagen, am 29. November, haben bisher unbekannte Täter in der Nähe von Essen den Großkaufmann Theo Albrecht entführt. Sie verlangen ein Lösegeld von 7 Millionen Mark und einen Vorsprung von 24 Stunden. Da die Verbindung mit den Tätern in den letzten Stunden zusehends schlechter geworden ist, hat uns die Familie Albrecht gebeten, den Tätern, die diese Sendung heute Abend sicher sehen werden, folgende Nachricht zu übermitteln. Bitte bleiben Sie weiterhin mit dem Vermittler in Verbindung. Dieser wird niemanden über den Übergabeort und Zeit unterrichten. Nach Rückgabe des Entführten soll Theo Albrecht 24 Stunden bei dem Vermittler verbleiben. Dadurch sind Verfolgungsmaßnahmen für diese 24 Stunden ausgeschlossen. Bitte handeln Sie bald.
Business in Germany keeps booming, and Karl Albrecht sets his sights on expansion. In 1967, his branch of the business called Aldi Süd takes its first steps abroad, buying up Austrian supermarket chain Hofer with 30 shops. His brother Theo follows suit 6 years later, opening the first Aldi Nord store in the Dutch city of Rotterdam. Soon they expand to Belgium and France, conquering Europe one country at a time. But right now, Karl Albrecht has to take a very different kind of call. He's on the phone with one of the men who has kidnapped his brother, and the guy is furious. The ransom drop-off has to happen, now, clean and fast. They settle on a new time and place. The kidnappers agree to let Bishop Hengsbach deliver the money after all. Albrecht is to stay with him for 24 hours after the exchange. No police. Any interference could be fatal. Karl Albrecht agrees. Back at the office, Kron returns with the good news. The deal is back on,
give him the money,
but
bro.
Ollenberg has other concerns. He knows the police are recording their calls. He's been obsessing over security and telling his accomplice countless times to take precautions. So just to be sure, he asks Kron.
Like seriously, nothing's with my family, especially the same family that me and him, we made billions, bro. Billions. It's like, nah, dog. We'll take the loss. We'll take the loss. We'll take the what? The 7 mil? 7 mil? Was it 7 mil? Yeah, we'll take the 7 mil, bro. Make this shit back in the next quarter. Like, bro, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it.
If he really changed his voice. Kron shrugs, awkwardly. Yeah, kind of. Day 17 of the abduction. Tonight's the night. The handover is finally supposed to happen. Theo Albrecht in exchange for 7 million Deutsche Marks. A lonely dirt road just off the highway. There's an overpass and 2 exit roads close by. Perfect escape conditions. The kidnappers arrive. Albrecht is wearing skin patches over his eyelids. sunglasses, and an old hat from Ullenberg.
Excuse me.
They had a glass of sparkling wine to mark the occasion. Ullenberg even gave Albrecht 2 parting gifts. The three step out and wait for over an hour. Is this a setup after all? Finally, a Volkswagen rolls up with Essen plates. The two men step out in clerical coats. One of them is unmistakably Bishop Hengsbach. The family fears a double cross. What if this is not the real Theo? What if the kidnappers pass off a decoy and run off with the money? So the bishop has to test him, with 3 questions dictated by Theo's wife. What kind of wood is Albrecht's new bedroom wardrobe made of? Albrecht hesitates. That damn wardrobe. What was the name of that wood again? He gives his answer, but the bishop shakes his head. Wrong. The second question is about an acquaintance they made during vacation. He gets that one right, and the third one too. All right, close enough. This has to be the real Theo Albrecht. The bishop and his driver get the money from the car, 7 million Deutsche Marks in cash, wrapped like Christmas presents. Ullenberg and Kron wish them Merry Christmas, hand over the Aldi founder, and vanish. No one follows them. They did it. They're now multi-millionaires.
Okay, now leave
and
the
Germany's
country.
most wanted criminals.
Leave the country. That's all I gotta do now.
In welcher Verfassung sind Sie vorgestern entlassen worden?
Also ich bin gesund. Ich bin natürlich sehr, sehr müde. Es hat mich ziemlich strapaziert.
Hatten Sie während der Zeit der Gefangenschaft daran geglaubt, dass dieser Fall gut ausgeht?
Also ich habe die Hoffnung nicht untergehen lassen.
Haben Sie mit den Entführern Gespräche führen können über menschliche Dinge oder nur über die Tat?
Ich habe praktisch kaum mit den Entführern gesprochen.
Theo Albrecht is a free man. 17 days after his abduction, he's finally back.
Oh, he looks fatigued.
He just keeps doing what he does best, expand his empire. In 1979, he sets his sights on the US market and buys Trader Joe's. Then he enforces the same principles that made Aldi so successful: a limited product range, strong private labels, and aggressive pricing. The formula works. Trader Joe's grows from a quirky Californian chain into a nationwide cold supermarket with hundreds of locations and billions in revenue. His brother had already opened the first US Aldi store 3 years earlier. Theo operates under the banner of his branch, Aldi Nord, and Karl under Aldi Süd. They're technically competitors, but with different customer bases. Today, Aldi is the fastest growing grocery retailer in the US, and the main reason people shop there is the same as ever: unbeatable prices.
Aldi doesn't play pricing games on USDA choice beef.
Hold up though, but they're the same family. Which, man, I want that for my kids, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you. I want that for my lighties, dog. I want that for my lighties. They're like, they be moving so crazy. Listen, they be moving so crazy and they use the same tactics, but they competing at every single turn. But they the same family. Like at the end of the day, on Sundays we all go back home. but the main family, they all come back to my side and we all eat and be like, okay, you got me on that one. I'ma get you next time. Oh, I would love that. I would love that for my kids. I would love that. Man, that would make me so happy. I could die happy with that one there. That one there, bro. Catch me in my sleep smiling, bro. Smiling. No parent. Like, I don't think a parent, no parent that would complain
They
about
have low prices every day.
I don't think so.
Hannah is waiting for her boyfriend. She's packed his suitcase. He said he was going on vacation without her. And now he's late. Maybe he's seeing someone else. When he finally gets home, his shoes are soaking and his pants are covered in mud. How would you get your pants that dirty at a downtown office? But Ullenberg can't exactly tell her that he just pulled off a spectacular kidnapping, and that his pants are dirty because he just buried 1.5 million Deutsche Marks in the woods. So he just says nothing. His thoughts are already elsewhere anyway, with his other girlfriend, his one true love, the woman he plans to run away with, all the way to the other side of the world, where they'll use that money to start a new life. But Hannah will soon find out what those dirty pants were really about. Paul Kron is at his sister's house. Her husband is there too. They're having coffee and cake and the TV is on, with sound.
Da handelt es sich zunächst einmal, meine Damen und Herren, um ein Gespräch zwischen einem Familienmitglied und einem der Entführer. Bitte hören Sie einmal zu.
So it's true. The police really did record the phone call between Kron and Karl Albrecht. Now the city's district attorney is playing it to the German press. He's hoping to get help from the public, that someone out there will recognize the kidnapper's voice.
Wir können das Geld ja nur hier irgendwo im Kohlenpott in Empfang nehmen.
Ja,
ne?
Nein, hören Sie zu.
Und dann,
Herr Dr. Meier.
Ja.
Merken Sie denn nicht, dass wir den Bruder haben wollen und bereit sind, das Geld zu geben?
Wissen Sie, Ihr Bruder verliert langsam die Nerven.
Ich verstehe das.
Er möchte gerne nach Hause.
Ich verstehe
Er
das.
kann nichts anderes tun als schreiben.
Kron's sister instantly recognizes her brother's voice. No doubt about it. He's the Aldi kidnapper the entire country is looking for. That's a tough thing to explain over coffee and cake. Kron doesn't even try. He just gets up and leaves. Hannah recognizes the voice too. Ollenburg has invited Kron over for dinner many times. She knows exactly who that is. A small electronics store in Dusseldorf. The shopkeeper turns on the TV just to catch a segment of a show called Here and Today. They're also playing the recording of the Aldi's kidnapper's voice, and it sounds very familiar. Just the day before, a man with that exact voice had come in to pay off his installment plan. He even bought a stereo system for 3,400 Deutsche Marks on top. The shopkeeper calls the police. Before the handoff, investigators had written down the serial numbers of all 500 Deutsche Mark bills in the ransom bundle. 3 of those bills were used in the electronics store. It's a match. Paul Kron is arrested 2 days later.
Damn.
But the second kidnapper is still a mystery, and still at large.
I'd run, dog. I'd run. I wouldn't go back to Europe. I'll go to
Peter Spohr is a young police trainee working toward his detective.
I'll go to another, an island or something. Fuck it, I might go to the US. Yeah. Go there, exchange my money for American dollars, and live off the US. Excuse me. Especially at that time, because the US, everything was cheap at that time. You know what I'm saying? It was still growing, so I could have invested in a few things.
Badge. Right now, he's doing an internship with the Essen Criminal Police. This is his mentor, Chief Inspector Friedhelm Meise. They're sitting in a lawyer's office on the 4th floor of the Graf Adolf Street 45. It's run by the lawyer representing Paul Kron. It's not exactly a hot lead for the 2 policemen. The more exciting assignments had already been snatched up by others. There's a pub downstairs on the ground floor of the building. Good cops think strategically. So first a beer, and then a plan. Theo Albrecht never knew where exactly he had been held, but he told the police every detail he could remember. An elevator in the stairwell, a narrow bathroom with a double sink and a broken extractor fan, the sound of streetcars passing by, and a bell chiming at regular intervals. The policemen see a streetcar passing by outside the lawyer's office. Then they hear the church bell of a nearby convent, just like in Albrecht's description. They peek into the building stairwell. Bingo, an elevator. So they check out the construction plan from the city's building department. The bathroom is long and narrow. They get a warrant to search the office. Everything inside exactly matches Albrecht's memories. Meanwhile, Kron starts to crack.
Paul Kron hat gesungen. Bezichtigt Heinz-Joachim Ollenburg als Haupttäter der Entführung, der ihn mit 10.000 Mark abgespeist hat. Doch der Vogel ist ausgeflogen.
This is Blondie, a 19-year-old legal assistant. She's waiting for her boyfriend at Wuppertal Central Station. She hasn't seen him in weeks, but he promised her something big. A luxury vacation in Mexico to celebrate that she successfully passed her training, 2 full weeks. Heinz-Joachim Ollenburg is on the run. He knows the cops have already picked up Kron. It's only a matter of time before they find out that he's the second Aldi kidnapper. Ollenburg and Blondie have known each other for over a year. When she spent a few months working from the US, he started killing time with Hannah, but his heart always belonged to Blondie. They're madly in love with each other. Now they're on their way to Frankfurt Airport. Back in Essen, Hannah has no idea. She's alone at home when suddenly the police is at her door. They're looking for Ollenburg. They seize this photo. It will become the official manhunt photo. Once they realize Ollenburg has left the country, the case goes global. The picture is sent to Interpol and investigators in over 100 countries. Ollenburg is now one of the most wanted men on the planet. And Hannah finally learns the truth, that her charming lover owes her over 300,000 marks, that he kidnapped the founder of Aldi, locked him up in his office, and then came home to her every night as if nothing happened, all while secretly planning his escape, with a girl from Wuppertal he's been sleeping with all this time. Shortly after, Hannah walks into a police station and hands them her boyfriend's dirty pants. Maybe there's something on them that will help them bring him down. A luxury hotel in Mexico City. Ollenburg and Blondie have spent a quiet first night together. Now he's supposed to plan their next days. But deep down, he's thinking about something else. He could tell Blondie everything, the whole story.
Go to
They could
Cuba,
run,
dog.
first to Cuba, a country that surely doesn't extradite to Germany, and then disappear to some remote Pacific island. But would Blondie really leave everything behind for him? Her whole life? Her family? It's 12 a.m. now, and Blondie is waiting for her boyfriend in the hotel lobby. She's coming off a travel group meeting. He said he'd freshen up for lunch and meet her downstairs, but he doesn't show up. Turns out her boyfriend has just been arrested by agents of the Mexican Federal Police. Paul Cron has thrown him under the bus. Blondie is stunned, unable to process what's happening. But all signs point to a shocking truth. Her boyfriend is the mastermind behind the spectacular kidnapping of Theo Albrecht, the crime that's been dominating. Headlines in Germany for weeks. So much for a vacation. They're on the flight back to Europe when she confesses her love. She'll wait for him even if he ends up going to jail.
Erst am 1. Januar 1972 kehrt aus Mexiko abgeschoben, mehr oder weniger freiwillig zurück, mit seiner Begleiterin aus Wuppertal. Ollenburg hat heute Mittag ein Geständnis abgelegt. Was fehlt, sind die 7 Millionen Mark Lösegeld.
Heinz Joachim Ollenburg is sentenced to 8.5 years in prison. Aldi stands for a promise. We'll do everything we can to make sure you pay as little as possible. For millions of people living from paycheck to paycheck around the globe, that promise is a lifeline. At Aldi, they're able to afford things they otherwise couldn't. But that promise comes at a cost.
This kind of feels like an ad.
Workers
for
operate
Aldi.
under enormous pressure, because in Aldi stores, every second counts. According to one report, cashiers are expected to scan 55 items per minute. Customers can barely keep up with bagging. Low prices means high pressure, not just for staff, but also for manufacturers, suppliers, and farmers. If you want to work with Aldi, you have to deliver. Aldi and other discounters wield staggering market power. They can just raise food prices without passing profits down the supply chain to producers and farmers. Farming businesses in particular have long been criticizing unfair business practices. Many say they're at the mercy of the retailer's whims. Theo Albrecht's brilliant and often brutal methods made him one of the richest people on earth. He ranked 31st on the corresponding Forbes list by the time he died. The kidnapping left a mark, though. Albrecht pretty much disappeared from the public after that. He really did try to write off the ransom as a business expense. The tax office in Dusseldorf declined. Half of the ransom money has never been recovered. Kron claimed he only ever got 10,000 marks. Ollenburg also played dumb, but some believe he lived off the rest of the ransom after having served his time. Whether Blondie really waited for him all those years, we may never know.
That was a crazy video. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's gonna get this far, but thank you for watching the rest of the video. Thank you for chilling with your own. Comment, like, subscribe, and until next time, I've been the Lost Soul. We out.